Welcome to the bush. My dad and I cut this tree down here, and there's a big stump here, so we've been piling the brush on it and just waiting for the right time to burn it. I need to boil down my maple water that I've been collecting for the first week here, and I thought, what a better way to do it than set up a maple syrup camp. Well, maple syrup camp is set. I think it's time for a step 2. Today we're going to have a double chocolate stout. Because, I mean, it's maple syrup camp, right? This isn't a camp for diabetics. And I hope I don't become one after this camp out. Because hopefully at the end of the day today, we're going to be trying out some syrup on a big old stack of pancakes or maybe some waffles. Oh man. Oh, that tastes good. So got her all set up. What we got going on is got my aunt's rendezvous tent here. Got it all set up. Got us a tray over the fire. That tray allows the surface area to spread out of the maple water, so it shouldn't take as long to boil down. I set up my Camp Chef wood stove, got 2 pots of maple water on it going. I set up my double propane burner that I use for brewing beer. I got 2 turkey fryers going on it. I only had maybe around 7 gallons of maple water this week, so we're looking at maybe 2 jelly jars full of syrup. So not a lot of syrup, but I'm going to see if this works out really well for boiling it down quicker. And at the end of the day, when I'm done boiling the syrup, I'm going to move the Camp Chef wood stove into the tent where I'll be nice and warm and doing some hot tent camping tonight. So I got a new cot. This is the Ever Advanced XXL. And I wanted something that was a little wider. I wanted something that, since I'm a little wider, would accommodate that. This is 41 inches wide, I believe. And so got her all set up. I'm going to give her a try tonight for the first sleep. You can get these on Amazon for about 120, I think. I think that's about what it cost. But it holds up to 550 pounds. If you're a skinny couple, you can actually sleep with you and your wife on here. So let's give it the old does it hold me test. Uh-oh, one of the ends popped off. Well, the good news is it's holding me. But is it going to fall apart every time I get on it? The ends are real tight. It's that way it stretches the fabric tight. No, this is going to be a nice sleep. I could dig this. Except I got to put my head at the other end. So this is my setup for over the fire this year. Last year I decided that instead of using the turkey fryer over the fire, I needed something with a bigger surface area. Well, I bought my propane burner about a year ago, and it came with this fish frying tray for frying fish for like a large number of people. So I filled that with the maple water. I just slide this pin over it to keep some of the heat in, and that way I can get more even heating, more surface area of the maple water is touching the tray. So therefore it should evaporate quicker. And it does seem to be evaporating a little faster. So then of course I put some in my turkey fryers, and I have 2 burners going here, and that boils it vigorously. And then over here on the Camp Chef stove, I will do my finishing. So this is where I take the concentrated sap and finish it to a syrup. I've got my bed all made for tonight. I just simply have to find me a nightstand. And again, at the end of the night, I'll just move the wood stove inside, run it up through the hole. We'll be good to go. Well, all right. There was a little bit of a pause there. I had to finish boiling down the syrup. The reason I didn't show that is because I have a maple syrup video. So check that one out above. It was part of the In the Bush series where I go into more detail on how maple syrup is made. So this is more just about the camp out and having a good time, right? So I moved the stove inside, got it all fired up, finished up my syrup, and then I realized that I left my camera out in the rain. So I had to take the camera all apart and get it dried out, take the battery out, take the card out, all that good stuff. And luckily when I turned it back on, it worked. Anyway, we're in here. It's nice and roasty, toasty warm. It's only in the 30s out, so it's not super cold. So I'm going to get to cooking here pretty soon because I'm getting hungry. It's time to cook up some pancakes. And I think I'm going to fry up a little chicken. We're going to do like a chicken and waffles thing, except chicken and pancakes. This is my pancake recipe. I just find that this recipe is really, really good. I'm going to read this recipe off to you. If you want to pause the video and write it down and make it yourself, go for it. But I'm going to read this recipe off, and then we're just going to get to cooking. That way I don't have to step by step do it. Okay, 2½ cups of flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Those are your dry ingredients. What you want to do is make a well inside the, take your mixing bowl, right? And make a well inside the center of the dry ingredients, and you're going to add in your wet ingredients. 2½ cups of buttermilk, 2 egg yolks, 1 stick of melted butter. What I like to do is slowly incorporate that, slowly mix that, and then I save the egg whites and I add them last. There's actually a scientific thing, some cooking show, America's Test Kitchen or something, some cooking show taught me that if you actually add the egg whites in at a separate time than the egg yolks, it causes it to cook differently and it's different. But since we're in a tent right now, I'm just going to add the eggs. And I'm sure it'll be just absolutely fine. And then we're going to fry up some chicken thighs. I deboned some pieces of chicken thigh, and we're going to fry them up. I got the oil hot already. Oh man, oh man, oh man. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I got 2 pints of syrup out of about 7 gallons. I know that's probably not the best return, but you got to keep in mind, all of my maples are soft maples. They're silver maples. So If you had hard maples, they have a higher concentration of sugar and you'd get more. But I got 2 of these. So, little NG Farmhouse 100% pure maple syrup from the bush. So, let's get to cooking. Baby. Well, here we are. Let's see how she is. Pancakes, fried chicken thigh, basically chicken and waffles, except chicken and pancakes. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. If this sucks, then I just give up. Let's see how this in the bush maple syrup tastes. Oh. Oh. It doesn't suck. If you make your own maple syrup, you should just know that it's going to be better than anything you'll buy at the store. I'm not talking about Aunt Jemima. Poor gal, they took her off the bottle. No, I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about any of the high fructose corn syrups. You can go to the store and you can buy straight up. It's about $8-10 a bottle now, $12 a bottle wherever you buy it. And you can go buy this stuff and it's not as good as what you're going to get out of your trees. I'm telling you, even if you buy 100% pure maple syrup straight from Canada, you will not get the flavor that you get from tapping your own trees and making it. I was talking to my uncle on the phone earlier. Big shout out to him. I inspired him to tap his maple trees. But I was explaining to him that you just can't get that flavor. Unless you do it yourself. There's just something special about it. It's woody, it's smoky. It's absolutely delicious. You know, 7-8 gallons of maple water I boiled down today to get 2 pints of syrup. 2 of those little jugs. You know, last year I remember this, like, thinking this is so much work, this is so much work. But when the work is done, it's so worth it. I wouldn't sell that to anybody. It's worth too much to me. It's literally like liquid gold. I encourage you, if you have maple trees, which a lot of people do, if you have maple trees, you should get out and tap them. Make some maple syrup. It's totally worth it. Oh. That was absolutely delicious. You gotta try it if you haven't done it before. If you got maple trees in your yard, simply tap them. It's really easy. You can watch my maple syrup video, or you can just simply get on YouTube and look it up. Well, now that I'm in a food coma, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is pouring cats and dogs outside. It started about 9 o'clock p.m. and it has not let up, and it's going to go until about noon tomorrow. So this is a big test for the canvas tent. My aunt had this tent treated, but that could have been 40, 50 years ago. She was using this tent in the 1990s, 1980s. So yeah. There are a few leaks. There have been a few drips here and there, but not too many. I'm actually really surprised. The canvas is actually doing quite well. Nothing really over my bed. There's a couple places where it's beading on the inside, where it's kind of bleeding through and beading up on the inside, but it's really doing well. Temperature is about 35 degrees, and it is just raining cats and dogs. Speaking of cats, Peanut, my cat found me. This is the closest I've camped to the house in a while, and well, she sought out my campsite, so she likes it in here because it's nice and warm. So I've got company tonight. That's okay. She's really a bitch. Oh, one other thing. The rain does seem to be funneling into the tent here. There's about an inch of standing water on the ground here. It's pretty gnarly. It's actually coming in my shoes. My socks are wet. I can't imagine living like this. Civil War era, or the actual rendezvousers back in the day. I don't know how they did it. Imagine living in the Civil War era, rendezvous era. They didn't even get a wood stove in their tent. I mean, this is I'm definitely living it up. But you know, I got an inch of standing water on the ground here, so it sucks. But can you just imagine what it would have actually been like back in the day? This is pretty luxurious. So I'm gonna kick my shoes off, dry my feet out, crawl into this sack, and hopefully, with any luck, it will be dry when I wake up in the morning. And it's approved by Peanut. Good morning. Well, that was a pretty miserable night. I think I only got a couple hours of sleep. This cot is awesome, but it's too big for this tent, and it was up against the wall, and it was wicking water away from the wall, so I was starting to get wet on my underneath side, so I couldn't sleep anymore. I think my cat peed on the blankets, because I smell cat pee. And of course the blankets are already wet from the water. My bag is completely soaked. There's an inch of standing water on the floor. Yeah, this was probably my maybe second most miserable night in the bush, second only to the time I got sick. So you'll have that. When you camp as much as me, you're going to have some busts. But maple syrup camp as a whole was a success. It was pretty cool. And got some maple syrup out of the deal. And we're early in the season, so hopefully I'll have a few more runs of maple syrup. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches In the Bush, and all the nice compliments I get and comments I get and everything. Hope you're enjoying it. If you have any suggestions, or please leave your comments in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I post a new video. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time in the bush.